Well, we're live, and we're gonna argue about this because I changed it on my thing. So I changed it. It shouldn't say that at all. I don't know what's going on. This is just.
Just suck as a DM.
What
My
the
game's-
hell? Mike, what did you send me? What the
What?
Twitter?
She's seen the whole video.
So here's the funny thing: you say we're live,
Yeah.
and we are indeed live,
I know.
and you say that it says that it still says. You say that it still says that it's the Yellow Brick Road. However, where I'm sitting here watching, it says Lost Mines of Phandelver.
Right. I know because I changed it. That's what I'm saying. I changed it. It shouldn't say, but on my OBS it says Yellow Brick Road. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's. I don't know what OBS is doing. It's drunk.
I've
just
never
thought
had
live.
OBS tell me the stream name.
So in the last, we played the last one quite a while ago, and I guess it was you guys went into this room. There was like 3 skeletons, and you had to fight them. They were animated, and then 2 red brand bullies charged into the room and fought. And I remember EOT saying, or Yipkin saying, "Oh, I knew that was going to happen." And in the other room were 3 prisoners. And yeah, so that's where we left off last time. What? And you guys took a short rest. And so what do you want to do? And if there's anybody watching, tell me if the sound levels are better this time. Like my sound is comparable to everybody else's sound levels.
Yes, Zalrock, give us feedback. I can see you talking in the chat.
Ah, there we go.
Zalrock doesn't want me to die so that he can kill me himself.
Yeah.
I
I
see
know.
we have a door down here.
Yeah.
We have these 2 passages we haven't explored, and this passage we haven't explored.
You did explore that passage at the bottom. It was
That's
just-
right. That one ends in the dead end. That's right.
Yeah. That's why you pay me.
Kind of weird.
This is a funny story, actually. My fiance was looking in like I don't know, like some newspaper or something, and I guess there's a place where I live that there were. It was on like Kijiji, which is like I don't know, like Craigslist kind of, and somebody was selling. So like they would say like they would run sessions, but you had to pay them. And she's like, people get paid to DM, you know that? And I was like, yeah, not me. I'm not gonna get paid anything for that. But yeah, so I'm on the chat.
So
All right, so
what I'm kind of thinking, Yipkin, is that before we release these prisoners, we should probably investigate this door.
Just to make sure nothing's about to come out and kill them.
Prisoners behind bars are safe prisoners.
More safe than with us. Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
I mean, if we let them out, they could run away, but they could run into red brands in the process of running away. So it's a bit of a toss-up. I'm hoping that these doors just lead us to a dead end.
Let's just leave the prisoners where they are right now.
just leave them
We'll
there.
come back and get them later.
You look comfortable. Just stay there.
Hello, prisoners. We're here to rescue you, but just not yet. Right now, we must consider the dangers presented to you by the rest of this dungeon.
Oh, by the way,
So,
Zalrock, I think it
sit
was $30. It was $30 an hour or something to DM. I think it was.
That is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that
But
bad.
they will-
If you think about it,
they
if there's
will-
like 5 players though, that would, or like 6 players, just make math easier for me because I'm not a mathematician. That would be
5
like
players would be
$5.
$6.
Yeah, that's not bad.
See, that's the funny thing is that you went from 5 to 6
Mhm.
to make the math easier, but they're the answer to one another.
Oh.
If you have 5 players, the answer is 6. If you have 6 players, the answer is 5.
God damn it. See, that's the problem.
Anyway,
Yeah. So if you're ever making a video and you're like, oh, this is a tough math question. Who should we go to? Don't come to me ever.
I believe that's why you had me involved in your response to Mauritian's struggles and his claim that a mathematician proved God exists because logical systems are either inconsistent or incomplete.
Yeah. Well, I'm also high on NyQuil. I mean, I'm just saying. But
We're killing the fourth wall tonight in the stream, apparently. Just throwing it out the window.
all right. So you're gonna leave the prisoners there.
For now,
My prisoners.
Right. And where are you gonna go? Are you gonna go south?
I recommend we scout out this passageway. I know somebody in our group doesn't. That's right. The Dragonborn don't have dark vision. So, I suggest Yipkin that you and I take the lead.
I'll stay at the
Going
back.
to die.
All right. So I will reveal what you see. And if I remember how to use Roll20, which I don't, there we go. Okay. Here we go. Boom. Look at that.
That explains Aidid's absence. Aidid is guarding the prisoners.
Okay. Yeah,
Our
that's
ranger
true.
friend, he's guarding the prisoners.
Okay, yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, make sure that people don't come and kill them. Good idea.
And give a reason for his character not being here.
Yep, that's a great idea. All right, Kimberly. You get to stay there. There you go. All right, so what do you want to do? You open the door. You will see thick dust covers the flagstones of this somber hallway. The walls are decorated with faux columns every 10 feet, and the double doors at the west end of the hall are sheathed in copper plate, now green with age. A relief carving of a mournful angel graces the doors.
Are there any footprints in the dust?
No, there are not.
There are doors in here other than the ones we just opened?
There's a turn off down the hall.
The ones that you just opened are the doors.
Ah, okay.
Do you see the two double doors? See the two? Oh, look at this right here. One.
Look,
two.
I shall try
have
still
an odd feeling we're exploring the cave backwards.
Yeah, that could be it.
Should I stealthing ahead a little bit?
Go ahead.
Well, okay, I shall move up.
Can you look for that might...
Go forth, mighty paladin, who is marginally better than nothing at sneaking.
All right, so you can make a dexterity saving throw of 15.
Oh, I should have checked for that first. I
You
fail.
Okay, so as you make your way across, so as you make your way across the floor at the T, which stands for trap, by the way. You hear like a cracking noise, and then the floor just gives way underneath you.
Oh no.
And you fall into a pit trap.
Where is this? Can you like?
So you
Ping it?
take 1 second to. You luckily only take 3 bludgeoning damage. And you're now trapped at the bottom of a 20-foot pit. Luckily.
By the way, the T surrounded by a dotted line in red that indicates where the trap is on the GM information layer, so we actually don't see it.
Oh, that's
Yes,
great.
I don't know where it is.
Oh, that's great. I always wondered that because there's other
I
things like
figured that out when you guys were walking all over traps in my last session.
Shit. They don't tell you that, right? Because I remember in other maps where it would like show you like where the secret door was, and then you're like, yeah, that's great. Just put an S on there so everybody can see it. But,
Yeah, no.
Is it here?
What I would suggest is
right
that so
there.
he just set it off, go to the GM layer, and then move the T down to the map layer so that we can all see it now that it's triggered.
So where does the trap start? Does it start right where Yipkin fell?
Yeah, it's
Or
right there,
over
right where Yipkin is. Yep, right there.
Okay.
There you go.
So Kriv is gonna walk up behind and he's gonna throw his rope down so that way we can get our buddy back.
Why do you want me to throw it down here? Why don't you let me climb up the other side and I just throw it down? Throw you the rope.
Kriv listens to this advice, considers it, and then decides to do that instead.
I'm going to climb up the other side.
All right, so I'm not gonna make you roll for that. It should be like a 5 to get up.
Right. How should I go about this? Should I go around the corner with the rope so it's got a bit more stability as you can climb across? using the
Actually,
door,
yeah,
maybe?
you could just do that instead because the rope's 50 feet.
So I'll throw you the rope. I'm then gonna walk backwards and around the corner and like use the corner to hold fast. Okay.
Okay, so
If you tie it to the door or something.
yep. So you turn the corner and you just notice that it's just like the wall is worn down, but there's no door there or anything. It's just a little alcove. I don't know why they put that alcove there, to be honest. But
Actually, don't bother climbing across. Just let me check. I am going to like feel around. Like, is it a worn alcove that's filled in with rubble, or is there any sort of like
no, it just looks like
slits?
no. There's nothing like you don't find anything. I mean, you can make a perception check if you want.
Da, 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 da. Perception. 14.
Yeah.
Do I find anything?
No, you don't find anything. It's just the wall. The wall just looks worn down. There's like little pits of rock that have fallen down onto the ground, but nothing of any great significance.
There's nothing on this side.
There's nothing on that side. Just you and the pit trap.
Can I just?
I wish I
check
had
the
that
wall?
sad violin music right
Okay.
now for the pit music, but
So I'm going to walk to the edge of the pit, like turn around and like lower myself down with my arms, and then climb up the other side.
all right. So okay, you're successfully make it to the other side. A little dirty, a little embarrassed.
The walls for a trigger?
Say it again, sorry.
Can I check the walls for a trigger,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
something that closes the pit?
Sure.
That should be investigation.
Or perception, whichever one's higher for you.
Okay.
Without stopping Mira, I just kind of go, I do suspect that it was just a false floor.
15.
I'm starting to wonder about these false ends.
Agreed.
Yeah, so you notice that there's this like there was like loose stones and tiles that were laid atop like crumbling timbers that were meant to collapse. That's what your investigation
Okay.
shows. They're smart, these ruffians.
They set a trap to guard a false passageway?
Can I
Seems
try
like
something?
Skepticism intensifies.
I said smart, I didn't say genius. All right.
Every capitalist bone in my body suspects that there's something back there. But my friend Yipkin assures me that this passageway leads nowhere, so...
We check the other passageway.
Well, no, because you came back here instead of checking the other passageway.
No, I mean the. Do you remember the room near the entrance? Like the hallway near the entrance?
Down here?
Yeah, down here.
Well, yes, you checked it and assured us that it was...
I walked down it.
Yeah, you walked.
I didn't check anything. I get a sinking suspicion that we're being fucked around here.
I have this distinct feeling that the gods are fucking with us.
I mean, we found one secret door. Is it too much to suspect that they got more around? I think we need to start looking.
Can I just jump over the pit and check that little corner?
Like where Yipkin was?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could if you want to.
What do I do for jumping? Acrobatics, athletics?
Well, I'm not gonna
It's
make you. I'm not gonna make you roll. You can climb down and climb up now that you know the pits are.
Okay. Climb up. Okay. So I light my hands on fire and I check the walls and everything.
Okay.
So do I find investigation?
Yep.
Okay.
This fighter's on fire.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. No. Yep. You don't
Yeah.
find anything. Just the same thing that Yipkin found.
Really?
Yep.
Nothing like no
Nothing.
inscriptions.
Well, I think we should get the people out the tunnel, and whilst we're down there, why don't we check upon my suspicions?
Crib doesn't do anything, but he does contemplate going down there and smashing whatever is apparently so distracting to the rest of his companions.
All right. So you gotta go
You do
back.
have the magic axe.
Yeah, you do. That's right.
But remember, we found out that the magic axe is like only good against trees or something, right?
Yeah, it's true. No, it was a +1 axe though. So
Yeah, no, it's a
Oh,
straight
that's
up
true.
everything dies better when you hit it with the axe.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That's
I think
neat.
it does like double damage or something to wood though.
If I remember correctly, I was the one who made the really good roll that helped us discover that.
Stop making me have to look up stuff. I want to be a lazy GM. I don't want to have to look up your stuff. All right, so you crawl back over the pit, and you are back in front of the doors. Where are you going to go?
With that being an apparent dead end, I convince
this
me.
way.
Yes, Mir. Well, my big concern is, on the one hand, I want to get our prisoners that we have found to safety. On the other hand, I'm not convinced that the 5 of us, including the person who is not technically here, who is technically... We're not going to discuss the metaphysics of a character whose player is not present. So, the 5 of us, I'm not certain can safely guard these prisoners all the way to the escape tunnel. So I'm not confident about letting them out yet.
Okay.
Can I? Okay, I have an idea. Why don't we ask the prisoners for information? Maybe they know more about this place.
I mean, that does sound like an incredibly reasonable idea that one of us probably should have had already.
Funny enough, you got high charisma. Would you like some help there?
Do I?
I have high charisma. Well, I'm talking about a paladin.
You're a child. You should ask.
You guys pass by Kimberly, who's now drooling on himself.
So I walk towards the prisoners and I say, "Hello, my name's Yipkin. I'm be one of your rescuers today. Before we can let you out, we wanted to know some little things. What can you tell us about the rest of these caverns and the bandits who hold it?"
Okay, so the prisoners, the 2 that you are facing are children, and
Right,
Oh.
I'm gonna
the
go
one
to the
above
adult.
the one above looks like they're adult.
I'll
The adult.
stay with the child first.
Kriv looks at the adult and greets the adult apparently. Okay, so
Look.
can we get more information about these people? Because they're just 3 random ladies on our
Look,
screen.
to be fair, our characters exist in a world where half of the player characters, well, 2/5 of the player characters look like children. A kobold looks like a dragonborn child. A gnome, unless I was maintaining a beard, looks like a human child. So why should we assume that they're merely human children? For all we know, they're halflings or wood elves or
Honestly, I thought they were elves.
half celestial, like something.
Nope, there are 3 humans, and I was wrong. Nars, you guys can see the nameplates, right?
No.
No, we cannot.
Okay, well, the one that's above is a child. The one below, why isn't my thing working? Hold on.
I can see
Are
that.
you on the
Yeah.
mouth button?
Yeah. Okay. So this one is a child. This one
Okay.
is a child, and this one is an adult.
Okay.
Yes, that one's the adult. All right,
Hello,
so
Adol.
hello, adult. So they look extremely dirty. There's like cuts and bruises on them. They look very desperate. And Myrna, she introduces herself as Myrna and begs you to set them free, her and her children.
It's like, we can't do that right now. It's not safe for you to come out. You could be attacked by skeletons at any time. What
And
can you
we
tell
have
us
a
about
big
the
hulking
place?
brute protecting you.
Kriv quietly hands the child in front of him one of his things of rations, one of Kriv's ration portions.
Oh, they take it hungrily and start wolfing it down.
There's only one in front of me. I'm talking about
All
this
right.
one, the
That
one
one
I'm
that one takes it hungrily and wolfs it down.
I'm understanding that the dialogue will be the same. I'm doing the same on my side, seeing Kriv's action and how clearly hungry that child is.
All right, ditto for them. She says, please just escort us out. We don't know anything. My husband defied the Red Brands, and they came in the night and they clubbed me and clubbed my children and took us here. I have no idea. I haven't seen anything. All I've seen is these cells.
Is she the
Okay.
town master's wife?
She says no. My name's Myrna Drendar. So the two children, one appears to be about 13 and one appears to be 18. And at first I read that as 8, but it's 18. Anyway, so
Maybe a child.
she says, I don't have anything that I can offer as a reward, but I do know of a valuable heirloom that's hidden. I'll tell you where it is if you let us out.
We're not doing this for the reward. We just want to keep you safe. I'll tell you what. Shall we unlock the doors?
Okay, so
It's just that way. If we die, at least they have a chance.
Ada is still here, or Kimberly is still here. So if we die, we can just have it so that Kimberly
Yeah.
frees them.
Okay, leave Kimberly with
But
them.
we should still unlock the doors.
Yeah,
As a
well, I
show
mean,
of
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just pointing that out.
Kimberly could escort them out too. I mean,
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
he knows the path you took to get here.
So, if I put on my metagame hat, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have is that I look at the corridor down which we came, and my in-character self is sitting here going, it would be so trivial for somebody while we're down here and Kimberly's here and the victims are here. It would be trivial for somebody to come out of this passage and murder them. Like, I just can't quite convince myself we can cover all the angles to get them
Inane.
out safely.
Would I do that? I mean,
Yeah. See, that is.
I don't know if
that's
you
what I
want the
mean.
answer to that question.
So partially, that's the difference between putting on my metagame hat, where I go, yeah, we can trivially have Kimberly escort them out safely. Whatevs.
imagine like at the end of the session, Kimberly's like, "Hey, how'd it go?" We're like, "Sorry, man, you died."
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. You got killed because the GM kept saying it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
You should let him walk out.
So what are we doing?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I like how Inane didn't even miss a beat when I said would I do that? Yep. Yeah, you would. Anyway, so and Zalrock, I'm sorry, but I'm definitely gonna take the most deadly GM. I'm taking that game home. But okay, so you refuse to open it and tell them that they'd be safer there. I'm assuming. They look very upset, crying. But
I'm open if Yipkin, Mira, and Kriv, or even some subset of them feel that it's safer. I'm willing to suppress my paranoia about the universe. I have my reasons for thinking it's unsafe, but I'm not going to say we should not do it.
what say you, party?
Kriv is inclined to suggest that we unlock the gates, and that doing so would be an act of goodwill, which would help put the parties or it would help to earn the traveler's trust, but such a complex idea takes more fluency in common than he has. So he just suggests that they unlock the gates.
Well, Yipkin and I already agree on the notion of unlocking the gates.
Okay.
The only question is whether or not we send them with Kimberly out of the cave and trust that that will be a safe choice of safe action to take.
Okay, so you unlock the gates, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you unlock the gates. They start shuffling towards the door. She like hugs her children, and they're like crying, like, "Oh, thank you so much!" And they start moving towards the door to leave. They just want to get out of there. Right. Do you stop them?
Kimberly, since they seem absolutely so. I think, if I remember the last 10 minutes correctly, we explained why we're afraid of letting them just leave. So I'm assuming that they're making this decision in full knowledge of what we've already told them. Kimberly, could you escort them out of here since they seem so set upon taking the risk?
So
at this point, it's their decision.
So I'll get to be Kimberly. Kimberly scratches his head and says, "I guess sure. I'll take them."
We did our best.
All right. So he escorts them out of the room, and you lose sight of them around the corner.
Yep.
All right. So now what? Where do you go?
I suggest we investigate to the left.
To the left.
Hopefully not your body is in the corner to the left.
Does everybody else agree with that? Yipkin and
Cribs
Yipkin and Mira are not here. What happened?
Oh.
Holy hell!
Whoa, they got Thanos.
Yeah, like literally like 50% of the people.
Oh no. That's not good.
They have not commented in our private chats to say what happened. So I'm assuming that they have somehow lost
the
internet for the moment.
Yep. All right. So I don't know what we do. Do we just talk?
Yeah, I'd say we just chat and whatnot. And I at least am going to be a schmuck and take this opportunity to use the restroom.
Okay.
So I'll be right back, and hopefully that will be the magic sign that brings Mira and Yipkin back.
All right. Stop drinking, and you won't have to go to the bathroom as much.
This is not the place to throw shade.
This is the only place to throw shade. And by the way, Zalrock, you will not be the most deadly GM. I am sorry. How many people have I killed already in this?
Look,
campaign? This is a beginner's campaign.
Okay, no. Let's be fair though. Okay, because Zal's doing a homebrew game, and you're using a module which is like very lethal and designed to murder new people.
This is a beginner's.
It's really
module.
not though.
Well,
just because it's marked for level 1 doesn't actually mean it's for beginners. It's not quite the same.
Listen, if I make a homebrew campaign, it would be just as deadly as this, if not more. I'm just saying.
Would you just throw Tarasks at your players until they quit?
Nah, undead minotaurs. They're way better.
So you're gonna attack them with more Steve McRae's? I get
it. And the minotaur throws tissues at Aiden.
Oh no.
Yeah. It is pretty deadly. You're right. Yeah. It's. I have the other beginners one I just bought is Stranger's Thing.
Oh, is that one actually good? I read a review of it which suggested that it was pretty solid, but I haven't actually played it or looked at it myself. I've
read about a third of it, and it seems pretty solid. I think Phandelver is better, like a lot better, but it's decent. It's decent. I like the way that the beginner ones are, because I think Wizards of the Coast, whatever, they just assume that like the other modules are like experienced DMs, and so they don't really explain a lot, or maybe they leave it like a little bit open or a lot open so that DMs can just kind of like ad lib and add stuff in and whatever. But I find the beginner ones are like better to run, like easier, and they're better explained. But I don't know. That's just me. Could be wrong. But like Curse of Strahd, for example, is not like, it's very loose. Like it's just like, here's some stuff in these areas, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. Just go ahead and run it. There's no real way like to navigate. So, and I guess part of that's part of the charm in a way, because it's like you can like put stuff in there, or like I've already taken like a bunch of stuff out and put new stuff in and everything. But I don't know. That's just me. So you will lose this challenge, Zalrock. I think Curse of Strahd is more deadly than this. So.
But I feel like, okay, so I read an older, I don't know if it was Curse of Strahd. I don't think it was Curse of Strahd for an older edition, but I read another Undead Adventure module, and like it seems like those ones are just designed to murder your characters. They're just supposed to die.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I'm going to feel really bad if we read in the morning about a nuclear exchange between Pakistan and India, and that's why we don't have Udita and...
Yeah. Well, they said before that
really
they're
dark.
Yeah, they said before though that their internet's pretty spotty a lot of times. I ran Elemental Evil up to level. Yeah, I haven't run that one. I have it. We were just talking about Curse of Strahd versus Phandelver as like which one's more deadly, and I think Curse of Strahd is, but
well, I've honestly got to say that it's almost not a fair comparison for one very simple and obvious reason. Curse of Strahd covers far more levels.
Yeah,
that's true.
And so, as a larger and bigger campaign, there's just so many more opportunities for death. From what I've read about the balance of the encounters, and from what I've seen playing through both as a GM and as a PC, I think encounter per encounter that Lost Mines of Phandelver is probably the more lethal of the two. But yeah. I think that's because they had less experience when they wrote Lost Mines of Phandelver. There was massive turnover in the Wizards of the Coast staff for 5th edition. They didn't have experienced adventure writers when they wrote Lost Mines.
Well, they definitely did a great job. I think to me, Phandelver, I haven't run all of Curse of Strahd, but I've read it all, and I've read a lot of the adventures. I haven't read the one that you're running, by the way, the horror one, but I'd say like out of all of them, I'd say like Curse of Strahd that I've read is the best. But I'd say Phandelver is like the best module overall. I think Curse of Strahd is amazing, but I still think that Curse of Strahd is more deadly because there's just like, so in Phandelver it's kind of sandboxy, but in Curse of Strahd you could just go hang out in a level 7 area at level 3, right? Like
right.
And get slaughtered. So, and there's like no like setish path. Like in Phandelver they kind of guide you towards the areas you should be in, kind of, right? But in Curse of Strahd they don't do that at all.
in that regard, I'll grant you that Curse of Strahd may be more deadly. In the sense that a group could wander into the wrong damn encounter at the wrong damn time and screw themselves.
Yeah, and also though Curse of Strahd is like literally, I don't want to give away spoilers, but it's like literally set in an area where almost everything is hostile, right? Like it's like, it's a hostile, the land itself is hostile to you. Whereas like Phandelver, you've got people around you that are good, right? Like that want to help you. And all that. So I think that adds a level of deadliness. Like I know I've taken out in the one that I'm running, I've taken out some of the encounters and replaced them because that's gonna kill them. And there's really no reason for them to be there.
The goblin ambush. But you left in the goblin ambush, Mines of Phandelver. Well, that is considered to this day the single most deadly encounter in any 5th edition campaign.
Well, that's funny because I was going to add that the only way that I could see Phandelver being deadlier is at the very beginning, because level 1 character, like in Curse of Strahd, you're supposed to start at level 3, unless you run what I'm running.
Unless you play the
Yeah,
what do they call it? The house.
Yeah, the house. That's what we're doing. But even then, I started them at level 2, so that they could get to level 3, right?
Okay.
And so
that fills me with concern about whatever the hell we're gonna find in this house.
I will, having run the house end to end multiple times for multiple groups as an official GM at a hobby shop. I can't speak to what you will find there because I'm sure that GC doesn't want me to spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
All I can say is that there's enough in there that you could make it from level 1 to level 3.
Yeah.
That's as much as I will say. I understand choosing to start them at level 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they can hypothetically do it.
Yeah, you hypothetically are supposed to go from 1 to 3. But I just gave them the first level just for free because everything in that land is pretty well as they learned right at the very beginning when they're fighting wolves, they almost died.
Yeah.
Unless I honestly think that unless I'm teaching a new set of players how the game works, I'm going to tend to avoid level 1.
Yeah, I kind
of. 5th edition level 1 is better than earlier edition level 1s.
Yeah, when I play games, though, I'd rather be at level 1, to be honest. I have that same. I've heard that like from a lot of people where they'll say like, oh, like level 1's too squishy, and they're kind of right. But I kind of like when my characters go from level 1 to like whatever they're going, right? Because it lets me be able to like
see the full span of their growth.
Yeah, instead of being like, oh, you're already like level 3, just go do your stuff, right? Whatever. I don't know. That's just me though. But I like stuff when it's like kind of hard. Like I said in that one video, I don't like it when GMs like just give you like player deaths and they make it easy for you. You know what I mean? Like they're just like, oh, just make another character. I don't like that because then I don't feel any care about my character because I'm like, oh, I'll just be like another character.
I have met so bear in mind, I'm a fan of not starting at level 1, not because you're too squishy, but because you're too limited in what you can do.
Oh, okay. So it's like the options.
Yeah, level 1 is, and again, I will say this emphatically, that 5th edition did a lot to redress this complaint. 5th edition, first level is so restrictive in terms of what you can do. It's the point where characters are the least... Body knock at level 1 was almost literally every level 1 wizard. Not quite, because 5th edition does a better job than earlier editions of letting you tailor things, despite the fact that at first blush it looks more restrictive than 3.5. But first level is where most people look like cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, I get that. I guess I'm just talking about more from like a like character development kind of angle, right? Not the powers that you have. But even like level 2 is pretty much like level 1, right? Like you don't really start getting more stuff until level 3, right? Then you start having
it does vary
chime in that level 2 for some classes is substantially better than level 1.
Yeah, that's why I choose level 2. There are some classes that don't blow up until level 3, but for a lot of them, as Luciano is saying, a fair few of us kind of hit our stride at level 2. I got to choose my specialty as a wizard at level 2.
Honestly, as a monk, the fact that like I'm not a monk now, but like in the other campaign, I'm a monk. And like even the ability to run slightly faster than other characters can at level 2, like that does honestly make
it makes you feel like a different character than every other melee fighter character type.
It makes you feel like a monk when you like pound someone in the face with your fists twice and then you like hop away. I do think monks would be better if they could like disengage more easily, but I mean that's just a personal quibble.
I've always hated monks though. And other things. There are feats and whatnot that can let you start to get into those kinds of abilities. I will say that one thing I kind of quibble a little bit about with 5th edition is I feel like feats are there's too much gatekeeping on access to feats. Granted, feats have a lot of power to them now that they didn't have before. But sometimes I still feel like it's such a burden. Either you play a human, or you don't see feats until level 4, and you only see feats at level 4 if you forego getting a bonus to your stats. What? That's mean.
Yeah, that is.
I feel like some video games handle feats in a really weird way. Like I'm thinking more of like Skyrim, where you get the ability to get Skyrim's equivalent of a feat at every level. And like those feats are insanely powerful. Even the initial ones, like the ability to do a whole 5th plus damage with every single one of your weapons, for instance. That's like the first feat.
But remember that the concept behind even before you got into Skyrim, where the Elder Scrolls hit easy mode, the whole philosophy behind Elder Scrolls is that your player character is this super special, unique individual who starts out at best at the upper echelon. Like, you start out as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Your level 1 character in an Elder Scrolls game is already an Arnold Schwarzenegger type action superstar. Not the real person, but, the characters he plays in movies. And you're supposed to end up by the end of the game at literally a fucking god.
Yeah. Oh, Kadami said that they have he's a Dark Souls, or she, I'm not sure, is a Dark Souls DM. If you get attached, I'm gonna kill you. I'm not surprised that Dark Souls has a role-playing game, but I didn't know they had a role-playing game. If their video game is any kind of indication of how deadly their role-playing game is, that's crazy.
Kadama, could you clarify for us, because I'm not 100% certain. Are you saying that there is a Dark Souls RPG? In which case, where the fuck do I buy? Yep, that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about their style of role playing.
Oh, okay.
Someone who very much enjoys murdering people. Got it.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, if there's like a Dark Souls role playing game, I would play the crap out of that. I'd love that video game. Dark and unforgiving. Yeah, I'm kind of like that. I don't know. I don't think I'm unforgiving, but I like it because like I said before, I like it when it's dangerous, like in games I'm playing in. I mean, it doesn't have to be dangerous all the time, but every time I make a bad decision, then there should be, like, I should feel like this could potentially hurt me. You know what I mean?
I want to feel like retreat is necessarily an option I have to consider every time I go into combat. I want to be playing body knock. I.e., that guy who, I'm there for you. I'm trying to help. But I have to be sitting here going, if I throw a magic missile instead of running, am I going to die?
Yeah, exactly.
And as much as I care, as much as it is important to me to help out the people I work with, the people I've fed, I'm willing to die for them if I have to. I might have to run.
Yeah, like, I don't like it.
I have to come up with a creative solution.
I don't like killing the characters. Like, it's not like fun for me to kill the characters. But at the same time, I think that there's some times where it's just gotta happen, right? Like, if you do that, then you're gonna die. Like, it would be like, if I'm playing any game, I would hate it if I'm getting like say I'm playing Monopoly, and then I decide, okay, I'm just not going to buy anything, and everybody else, I just keep landing on stuff in the bank, and the guy that's playing the bank is just like, oh, that's fine, here's another $100 or whatever, right? Then there's no point in me playing the game, right?
If there is no risk, there can be no reward.
Right.
So
exactly.
You have to have risk.
Yeah, but it's got to be like managed properly, right? Like, you can't have it so that like not every encounter has to be super deadly, right? Like, it's good to run into an encounter sometimes where you just like mow through the enemy and then you feel like,
no, that's actually one of the best points of advice I was given was and I forget where I read this. It was actually in a published book on GMing philosophy. When you have players who have advanced enough in levels, you have an encounter back at level 1, level 2, level 3, wherever it was, you have this encounter that made them, like, for example, our run-in with the Green Dragon, where we were happy to have escaped that by tricking her into running away, essentially. We used magic to scare her away when she could have wasted the entire party.
Yeah.
So you come back and you fight that exact same dragon at higher levels when you just fucking steamroll her.
I mean, that's my goal. My goal is to come back to that dragon and just mess her up.
And so, and the point that this book was making in the chapter that talked about this was that lets players understand and feel how they have grown, how their characters have grown in power. Is, oh, I remember when we were terrified of this encounter. Now it's ha 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 no 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 no.
The one thing I like about 5e though that you don't really find in other, like in Pathfinder, for instance, when I played Pathfinder, if you're 10th level in Pathfinder and you go into like a level 1 encounter, there's just, it's no like you're just gonna destroy, and you kind of do that in 5e, but at the same time, if you have enough level 1 characters in your level 10 in D&D and you find, like, I don't know, enough goblins, they can kill you. And I kind of like that. Like, I like it that
I think so. Pathfinder did try and implement that. From my experiences running Pathfinder, they tried to implement that, but I will agree with you that 5th edition does it better.
Yeah, like they can literally, like a goblin, if you you have like a, I don't know, like the AC is, I think it's part of it, right? Because the AC is a lot lower in 5e, no matter how high of level you are, right?
In 5th edition, numbers grow slower. And as such, that was literally the end of my statement.
Okay.
I was waiting for the second part, and I was like, oh my god, I think Inane just passed out.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about Zal's campaign. For anyone who's curious, I play with Zal and a whole bunch of other people. And Zal's campaign, despite, like, we talk about how deadly it is, and Zal jokes about, like, wanting to kill all the player characters. I'm not in the chat, so I have no idea who's there or not. But there have been a handful of encounters that have obviously been, like, purposefully not super challenging, and that's nice because, like, we're a fairly low level group. We hit level 3, or at the very least the main core of us, those of us who are there every week. So Callan, myself, and Iseth Original hit level 3, and I think Christiosity did as well, in like the next to last session we had. And then we had a really nice encounter that was super easy. It was actually designed to, like, sort of neutralize Iseth Original, who is fantastic at murdering. Like you wouldn't really expect this from Iseth, but she's ridiculously good at making things that have been alive not be alive anymore. And it's because she's a rogue who's also, she's an assassin rogue. So her whole thing is that she's supposed to be good at murdering. We had to face a vampire mist who is purposefully designed to neutralize, like, rogues and things that rely on, like, sneak damage or melee type fighters.
Okay, so I'm laughing for several reasons. The first is because I'm looking at the chat and seeing Zalrock go, "You say purposefully."
I mean, that's true.
Like randomly rolled.
No, like, it's true. When Zal, I don't know how Zal selected that monster
randomly
for that encounter.
Rolled a die.
But that monster, like, the purpose of a vampire mist is to fight against characters that are melee. If we're talking about, like, metagaming, because it has resistance to, I think, every single type of melee attack unless you have a magical weapon, and it's something that you can encounter theoretically as early as level 1, although if you encounter one of those at level 1, yikes, that's not going to go well for you.
Yeah.
But then right after that, like, we had that super easy, super chill encounter where I don't think any one of us got injured once. I'm pretty sure no one got injured. And then we faced off against a boss, and I almost died. I was the only person who got injured. but
You
I
know what?
almost died.
You know what I think? I don't think that EOT or Udita are coming back,
Yeah.
but I do think that we should have these kinds of talks, like have like Zalon or like
Yeah, no,
other.
this is a good live stream in that sense. It's not what
Yeah.
anybody was expecting,
Right. But it'd be just
but
kind of
there's
cool to like just
nothing
wrap.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with this kind of a chat to talk about GM styles, game styles, etc. All of the shit that we've talked about.
Hmm. Yeah, it'd be just kind of neat to hear like and like just pick a topic and then just talk about it and see where it goes. I think that would be
I
nice.
mean, have a live stream of all of the GMs who are in Last Chance Gamers, for example.
Yeah, yeah. But even
Yeah,
some players, right?
yeah, players too.
Because then players can say like, "Hey, I like this kind of style of GMing," or "I like this kind of thing," right? And then DMs can learn because I don't know what people like, right? Like, so when I run it like I would normally run a game, but for some people that might not work, right? It's like some people might be like, "Yeah, I like it to be more deadly," or "No, it's too deadly," right? Like, or "I like it with more role playing," or "I like just dungeon crawling."
Oh fuck! I've been GMing for almost 20 years now.
If I had been GMing for 20 years, I would have GM'd my first game when I was 4.
Oh god, fucking
Just
baby!
the Rugrats equivalent of Dungeons and Dragons.
I need liquor. Holy hell! I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words right now. I'm sorry. I'm blown away by this whole 4 in 1999 thing.
Hey, no, not 1999. Then I'd only be 20. 1994. I almost have a master's degree, guys. I have 3 classes left.
You said 4 20 years ago. 20 years ago was 1999.
Oh, I would have been. No, wait a minute. 20 years ago, yes, I would have been 5 actually, not 4. But my birthday is later this year. If I had been DMing 20 years ago, I would have been 5 when I DM'd my first game, which would be a very strange first campaign. Like toddler's first D&D.
Who's Too Kwai Washington said, "Out of curiosity, do you guys know I'm here without mean typing? And if you know, as a question." Well, we know you're there now.
Yeah,
The answer to your question is no. We don't know if you're here without typing, or at
Yeah.
the very
Yeah.
least,
This
yeah.
This has been something that has interested me about live streaming on YouTube. The person live streaming, at best, has a gross idea of the number of people who are watching at any given time.
Yeah.
Only way to know who is actively watching and down to an actual name of a person who is actually watching is for that person to have chatted in the live chat
Yeah.
within the last so many minutes. If you've been quiet for long enough, you won't actually show up when you check the participants list of the live chat.
Yeah. The only other way is if you subscribe. Then I can see, like, it'll say, Chris Evans subscribed to your channel or whatever. But yeah.
Captain America watches Godless Cranium.
Well, I literally looked, and there was the last person that subscribed was Chris Evans because it shows me a list. Yeah. So there you go. Maybe Captain America does watch me. That's pretty cool.
You're Captain America's favorite Canadian.
It's like I like this dude's thing. So I guess we should probably just wrap it up because I don't think we're gonna have time to play anymore.
I think we sadly we lost Udita and we lost.
Yeah, we can't play with half the members, but
Yeah,
at least
This
The
is
one
actually
good
less than half.
yeah. One good thing though is that Kimberly won't miss much. Besides a pitfall.
So does that mean that we should, I guess, so in character, I think it would be kind of cool for us to take, Jesus, I'm trying to think of the right way to do this. I'm inclined to say that in character, we should take a long rest here, wait for Kimberly to come back, because hopefully Kimberly will be able to make, or hopefully the player who plays Kimberly, I don't know how public they are about their name and stuff, but hopefully Kimberly will be back in the next session, and then that way we have a way to explain that while we were taking the long rest was when they came back. If that makes any sort of sense.
I think taking a long rest in this area is probably a bad idea. But you
Fair.
can have another short rest if you want. Like if you want to add more hit points or whatever, that's fine.
Would they be able to come back while we are
It would
taking
not.
a long
It would genuine. Honestly, assuming that nothing assaulted them in this room,
Yeah,
it would take nothing for Kimberly to get them into this tunnel, and once they're out of the tunnel, they're safe.
Yeah, we'll say that he does that.
In the tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
say
I
that
think that's
he
better.
successfully tells them to run towards the town.
Yep.
And we'll say it's another short rest, and we'll pick up next time. It's too bad. I was hoping that we could get quite a bit done this session, but the internet is what it is. But Zalrock, maybe let me know if you'd be interested in doing that kind of like free flow chat thing, and maybe Inane if you're interested, and Luciano, then we can maybe do this another time too, just for something fun to do.
If you ever want to talk about role-playing stuff, I'd be super down for that because I find D&D super interesting in terms of role-playing, not so much combat.
All right, let's do it. I've been wanting to get Zalrock into a game, but I don't have time to run more games, and I already have players set, so yeah. But we
And
can maybe do it.
Zalrock says yes
Oh, good. Yes.
to the idea. I recommend organizing it through the Last Chance Discord because all of us involved in this conversation are in there.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do that. All right, so I'm going to end the stream now. Thanks for watching, people.
Bye, friends.